guys, it's Solange. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for all the love and the support that you've shown to me throughout these months or so. Now, in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do front pockets. This is just one of the 3 ways in which I do them, and this is the most basic way. And from this, you can be able to alter it into your own style regarding how wide you want the pockets, how deep you want the pockets, etc. So I have here just a sample of a skirt. Let's just pretend that this is our skirt, and where I've marked the natural waist and the hip, let's pretend that is the middle of the skirt, and where you see the arrow going down 8 inches, that is the side of our skirt. So to begin, we're going to need 2 rectangles for our pockets. If you're doing 2 pockets, you're going to need 4 in all, but we're only demonstrating 1. So it's going to be 7 by 10 inches for each rectangle. The next thing that we're going to do is mark 3 inches from the side of our skirt towards the center. We're now going to mark 5 inches from the top of our skirt waist towards the length of our skirt, as you see me doing here. Now, if you have a curve ruler, you can go ahead and connect those 2 markings that we just made. However, I usually freehand most of my stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw the curve as I see fit here for my skirt. Once you've drawn that curve, we're just going to go ahead and cut it out. Now please be reminded that the area that we're working on here is the actual front of the skirt itself. Okay, and now we're about to work on the pocket pieces. So we're just going to take one of the 7 by 10 rectangles. Any one is fine, doesn't matter which one you use, you're just going to use any one of them. And we're going to place it lined up with our skirt like this and cut out the exact curve as the front of our skirt. This works as a facing for our actual skirt pocket. Once that is done, the next step is for us to place our facing on the right side of our skirt, like so, and we're going to just pin around the entire curve. Now, as you get more experience, you won't necessarily be pinning it all the way around. I usually don't, but this is a beginner tutorial, so I'm just doing it as a beginner would. You just go ahead and place all your pins going around like that, and we're going to take it to a sewing machine. Using a regular 2 or 2.5 stitch length, we're just going to start from the top of our seam there, and we're going to stitch using a 1/2 inch seam allowance all around our curve that we just pinned. Please don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and at the very end every time you begin to sew and end to sew. And this is what it looks like at the wrong side. So the next thing for us to do is to go ahead and clip around our curve. Usually when you're sewing and you have curls, you should be clipping around them just to ease the fabric and make it turn over on the right side much neater, much better. So I'm just clipping all the way around, ensuring that I do not snip any of the thread that I just sewn with my machine. We're now going to flip the pocket facing onto the wrong side of our skirt here, and we're just going to go ahead and do what we call an understitch. So it's basically we're taking all the raw clipped edges that we just sewn and just clipped, and we're pressing them toward the pocket piece there, toward the pocket facing, and we're going to stitch along there. So on the right side here, this is the pocket facing, and I'm just stitching a regular straight stitch, ensuring that all the clipped seams are on the right side, or whichever side the pocket facing is, and not towards the front of the skirt. And we're just doing like it's a little millimeter stitch there to just hold those raw edges down onto that facing. And this is what it looks like now that we're finished with that. And you see on the right side, it is really nice and clean. That little stitch line you see there, that is on the pocket facing. The next thing that we're going to do is take to our iron, and we're going to just give it a nice flat press there with our steam iron, ensuring that it looks really nice and neat. Now, in reality of pressing, you really should be putting a piece of pressing cloth or cotton cloth, especially when you're working with working materials, but this is just for demonstration purposes as I'm doing here. The next step, now that our skirt is nice and flat pressed, we're just going to take the other 7 by 10 pocket piece that we have here and place it like this, lining each edge up at the side and at the top of our skirt. Then we're going to hold it and flip it over onto the wrong side to make things easier so that we can pin the pocket pieces into place. And now we're just going to go ahead and take our pin using a 1/2 inch seam allowance and pin going all the way from the top of our pocket pieces, going along the square there, and then coming up back to where the actual pocket curve begins. And guys, even without us actually sewing it and just pinning it, you can just see how my hand already is inside of my pocket. So now we're still using a regular 2 or 2.5 stitch length, and I'm just going to remove the pins as I sew. Ensure that you backstitch at the beginning of your seams, and using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, I'm just sewing along the square like so. As I'm approaching the corner of my pocket, I'm just going to leave my needle in a downward position to my presser foot and turn my work, put down back my presser foot, and then continue sewing until I get to the other corner of the pocket and repeat those steps. So I'm just going to leave my needle down again, lift my presser foot, turn my work, and then put down back my presser foot and continue sewing with my regular stitch until I get to the end of my sewing and backstitch. And guys, it was that simple. This is basically the end of our tutorial for today. As you can see, our pocket is complete. You can go ahead and curve back the edge of the skirt as needed. I went ahead and just serged those areas. I didn't serge the side because once you're completing your skirt, you will go ahead and know when the time is right to do so. But yes, this is basically our basic front pocket tutorial. I hope that it was easy enough for you to understand and that you stayed to the very end at least and enjoy it. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for all the likes, the comments, and for looking at my videos. Until I get back next time with a new tutorial, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye!